Hey guys, this is Mandy from Light on Earth. So I still haven't made your video about synchronicity, and I'm not sure if this video is going to turn out to fully cover what I want to say about synchronicity or not. But there's a more important angle I need to come at this from, and I think it's important not to just do a subject straight out on synchronicity first, because it's easy to get lost in things without having the foundation beneath you that you need to know to understand and perceive these things. So a really good way to explain enlightenment or spiritual awakening is learning how to see, or not just an awakening, but the entire journey, your entire life journey is learning how to see. And there's a lot of references and religious sources about learning how to see. The song Amazing Grace, I was blind, but now I see. And you will actually notice visual changes. That's a very weird thing, or some of us do. I'm a very visual person. I'm an artist. I absolutely love color. I'm fascinated by color, and I love nature. So this is one of the ways that source really came through to me, and how I was able to have insights. Most of them came visually. That may not be the case for you, but how we see is our main sense perception. And sense perceptions are how reality is coming through to us. And we can get caught up in what we see, but we can also use those as a gateway into what includes all of everything as well. So a few years ago, I started noticing birds. I would never even see or notice birds. So part of seeing is just noticing little things around you. And if you go back into a lot of religious texts and a lot of stories and myths and everything, I've noticed this theme of trees, birds, and stones, which is a really interesting thing. And I believe that all of reality has consciousness to it. Stones are such an ancient thing, and birds sort of symbolize a transcendence to us that they, like the name of my channel, Light on Earth. They're part of Earth. They're an animal that lives on Earth, an animal that needs to survive, and yet they can fly through the sky and experience weightlessness. And they just have so many references in religion and birds coming to you. And if you go way back, some of my videos, when I started, the insights really started coming up for me. There was the crows on the white snow, and it's just really interesting how those things came through before I was really aware of how intertwined reality is, and how all of these stories and myths and religious texts and religious stories are all part of us. Truly, they're all part of our psyche, and we can tap into them and experience those sort of tropes in our own way. And so this isn't, what I'm pointing to here isn't just seeing. It can be going outside and experiencing smells, the smells of the forest or the smell of a flower, and just truly experiencing what you see with your senses. And going back to our senses is a way of going back into the present moment. And it's a powerful way to go beyond the ego and just let what we're perceiving come through to us, and just be there fully, to be fully conscious. So you can see how this is increasing your consciousness of learning how to see. And so I really encourage practices going in nature, really looking at a leaf, really studying. If you read Thoreau, he watches ants for hours and is fascinated by it. And the more you learn and the more you educate yourself, the more you will become fascinated by what you see. And the more everything just starts to connect and intertwine and becomes fascinating. That's another thing I noticed over my transformation of the past few years, that the things I became really interested in would be normally things that would bore people or would have bored me in the past, and they just totally transfixed me. And that's continuing. That's a really exciting thing to experience, and it's continually evolving. And that I just become really fascinated with studying any subject, and I've gone back and read stories back from stories I read in high school and books that I knew there was really something to them, but I didn't really quite have the maturity at the time to understand, or the life experience to understand. And that's something to remember too, that we're here to have these experiences. We're here to gather data. We're here to want things. And unless we're really awake and we're really seeing what's happening around us, the ego will co-opt what we're seeing, and it will want the wrong things for us. And so learning how to truly see somebody, this can be an incredible release for your relationships and everything. And I recently had this. It's always bothered me how much looks are important to men, and how they just seem to get so lost in that. And I understood that, the sexual attraction part is something that we just can't ignore. It's something really strong in us. And so when you're unconscious, the way your desire to learn how to see is going to come through an appreciation of beauty of the opposite sex. That's one way it's going to come through fully and strong, and so strong you won't be able to ignore it. And you can have that same connection with a tree or a leaf. If you build your sensitivity to it. That's what I'm saying. Not quite the same level of excitement exactly, but you know what I mean. And so when we truly learn to see people and not just what they can do for us, or we're looking at them from a level of judging their attractiveness, or even like their clothes and how well they're doing in society, but if we truly see them, you can see through to someone's spirit, and you can know exactly in that situation, like what to say next or what to do, or that's the main goal. And so this is all about learning how to see. And something that comes out of that is synchronicity that I talk about. And just being alert and realizing that everything is part of you truly, and that's not just something that you say in your head, but is you're experiencing it, you are seeing it. It's not something you're thinking, oh yes, you're explaining this is everything is part of me, but you're seeing. And so things will come through to you, like pieces, like I said in past videos, pieces of trash on the side of the road end up giving you an insight, a major insight that you were ready for in that moment. Or you start just thinking about things, a sign or symbol, and you start seeing it everywhere, and you start seeing how it connects, and you understand this favorite story you had as a child, or stuffed animal you had, and you start seeing how everything is just this beautiful, your life is just this beautiful tapestry, and you start to step back and really look at it and see how it's interwoven into this beautiful pattern and design of your life. And so take the time to really look at things, and we quiet the mind, we quiet the ego, and then what comes through to us is the most immense, immeasurable, unexplainable beauty that you can ever experience. I hope that this was helpful. I love hearing from you guys. Please leave a comment if you have anything to say, and please subscribe to my channel or share this video with anyone you think might appreciate it. I really enjoy making these videos because it helps me to I experience insights more. Like I say, I see them, and then I don't really cognitively understand them so much. That's a harder part for me. And I found that some people come at this with a very intellectual standpoint, and other people come from a very emotional or heart-led standpoint. And mine seems to be a little bit of both, but I'm definitely more led from the heart. So it helps me to explain these things to you, and I hope that I also am imparting some of the joy you can get from opening your heart and your emotions to this work too. So thanks for watching, guys. I love you. Bye.